Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices, but I want to start with the S&P 500 as we've got a positive count which will take us a little bit higher and how that will affect the European market. So for the S&P here, we're looking at this as wave 3 up here and then an A wave to here, an A and a B and a C wave over here with 5 waves moving up as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and moving up for wave 5 here. So this little move coming up here appears to be in 5 waves. So if it takes this top out here, then it's going to continue moving to the upside here. And of course that is going to put some positivity into the European markets. So we need to sort of accommodate that. Now, if that is the case, then that would suit the count that we have for the UK market, the FTSE. So as you know, we've been looking at a slightly different count, but a wave 4 down here and wave 1 and 2, and then moving all the way up for wave 3 up here. So in this case here, we're looking at blue wave 1 and 2 here and blue wave 3 and 4 here. Now, this little move here appears to be positive as well. If it takes this high out here, then we can go to the upside in this instance here. This count down through here in this market counts as an A and a B and a C here. However, on the cash market, it counts as 5 waves down, which is the European markets. I don't have a good grip on them at the moment. So this is the UK. This is the UK market from the top here. In this instance here, it looks like we've got wave 1 here. That's quite clear to me. And then wave 2 here. Then the third wave would be 1, 2, nice long third wave here, 4th wave and 5th wave for the third. So 1 and 2, 5 waves for the third wave, the 4th wave, and then the 5th wave down through here. Okay, so it does seem to count in 5 waves in that instance. But in this instance here, each time I look at it here, it seems to be counted better in terms of 5 waves down to here, an A and a B and a C, and then 5 waves down here. So all the European markets are a little bit unsure. I don't have a good grip on them, but if the US markets make a new high and these European markets also have the same sort of little push coming up here. So let's see how we go with this. So on the 1 hour chart, while we're here for this market here, I can see that like from the low here, I can see we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. I know this can also be counted as an A and a B and a C here. So it's really, really important that that you wait for this top to be taken out here. And on the short side here, if all fails, well then if the 7650 becomes a retested resistance, then we need to be on the short side from that point. So I've got wave 5 here. But it just, you know, in this instance here, it counts as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and an A and a B and a C here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So it counts quite nicely as an ABC here. So I don't really know what to make of this. So I'm unsure. I don't know. But whatever happens on Friday is likely to follow through on the Monday. So if we do make new highs, you know, above the previous little rally here, then we can move in on that side of it there. The AEX and the DAX are also in tricky situations as well. So with the AEX here, I can count down here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, an A and a B and a C here for wave 2, or even an A and a B and a C. And then this down here is either 1 and 2 and 3 here. So either 4 and 5 here for the third wave, all of this for the 4th wave, and we still got to move down to go here for the 5th wave here. But at the same time, if I take this count here, then it does look rather impulsive to the upside. So at the 560 area here, then we'd need to be long above here. But any long trade also needs to be treated with with care as well, because we wouldn't have far to go. So if I take this little space here, then the move would be back up to 565. If this was some sort of corrective rally here, which I just don't know, into this space here, then it can fail from this point. So we would only turn sort of bullish on this one if we had this 565 as a top there. And then all this move down through here, like the UK market, would be a wave 4 coming down. And we wouldn't have that top in play here. And this is the same for the DAX as well. So with the DAX here, we've been looking at it as wave 3 here, an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave for wave B here, and then moving down. In fact, we've been short through this little space here. We can look at that in a moment, and we're looking at taking profit at the 12, or part profit at the 12,500 area here. But because of the FTSE and because of the S&P 500 takes that high out, then we may need to consider this move back down here as a wave 4 here. So I just don't know as yet how to work with this move. So on just the 1 hour chart here, this is kind of interesting in this space here, that there's just different ways to view it. But whichever way I view this, by either having a wave A here or moving and having the wave A here, I still end up with this corrective pattern here as wave B here. The situation here, though, is that this can be counted as 1 and 2 to here, and the third wave down here, a fourth wave here, and a fifth wave here. And in fact, this can also still have one more move down through to here. I would suggest that we would only look to go positive on this is if this trend line here was breached. I've just taken it from here to here to here to here. So I'm still unsure about this, but our aim at this stage was that we'll take the short trade here and we'll move down into the 12.5 here. If the 12.650 here becomes the support here, then you need to exit the short trade at this stage. The retest here is fine, and you could have also shorted this back through here as well. Or having the retest, having it fail at the 800 here. It's done all the right things in terms of moving lower. This is a level here, it's retested it. We know that the 800 is a level, it retested it. We also know that 700 and 600, they're important, but we also know that the 650 here is more important. It's the halfway point between 500 and 800, and it carries more weight than the 700 and the 600. So the next level down is from the 650 here is obviously the 500. So that would need to become the retested resistance. So we're in a downtrend, but if the US markets, if it makes a new high above those highs I pointed out, then this is going to lift from here, and we would need to cover those short positions from here. And we talked about taking profit, part profit at least, or whatever, at the 12.5 here, and that would still ring true as well, taking profit at the 500. And if the 500 became the retested resistance here, there would be the bounce off that in 3 waves, then it would move through and then it would retest. So then that becomes your reference point for a short trade at that point. So yeah, that's where I'm really going to have to leave it at this point. I've gone over this with the cash market and so on here. So yeah, any short trade here would be fading the 12.650 here, would be taking these lows out below 2 here, so 600. Then we've got group 1, which is 10, 20 and 30. So if the 2 becomes the retested resistance, then we'll see it move down from that point. If the 650 here becomes the support, and that would be if I need to draw over here. So we can see that we've got the arrival, the reaction, which is all of this here, as an A and a B and a C, and then a bit of an impulse wave up here. So an A and a B and a C. And then we'll get the first high above the level here. And then there'll be another corrective move here, and then a move up. So it needs to migrate from being resistance here to support over here, so we can expect some move up and move back here, and then these highs, whenever they're made, they're your long trade to the upside. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Today I don't have any clear answers for this. I also just wanted to have a look at the Italian market as well, the MIB here. It's got a slightly different top than the other markets, and it's been bearish longer. This is a weekly chart from its top here. It does make a good case though for wave 3 being over here, and an A wave and a B wave and a C wave moving into here. There's different ways to count wave 3 here, but whichever way you count all of this, it still leaves wave 3 here. On the daily chart here, we can look at it in terms of a slightly different count here, where we have wave 1 here and wave 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and the third of a third here, and a fourth, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here for the third wave, fourth wave, and then all of this here for the next 5 wave structure in here, which would be the 1 and the 2 in here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. So it does create this as a nice third A and B and C here for the fourth wave here. I don't know how to read this in here. If I go to, I'm not sure if it's the hourly chart here. I'm just not sure of this. I can't get my head around it because these patterns are not very clear to me. It's that they, I don't know, it just seems to lack volume in here. It's a bit tricky for me to work out. So I've got to spend more time on this. So it seems to be on the daily chart I can work things out, but on an intraday basis I can't work things out. So I need to spend a little bit more time on this, but I'll get back to you with this. I just need to understand it a little bit better. So in a nutshell, I don't know if we've got one more wave down through to here, or we're going to be moving straight up from here, because I can take guesses at this. You know, I can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and ABC here, and so on. And some of it I can see and some of it I can't. It doesn't move very smoothly on an intraday basis. But on the daily chart here, I mean, it's been bearish, you know, way before the DAX and some of the other markets. So it's kind of very weak at that particular point. So we'll see how this sort of pans out through here. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's got support here from these previous points here. But I just don't know if it's actually finished its 5 wave structure down through here. So I'll get back to you on that one, and we'll have a look at the Spanish market as well. All right, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.